In a world that thrives on instant gratification and fleeting pleasures, we often lose sight of what truly matters. People rush into relationships consumed by desire, but never stop to ask themselves what lies beneath. There's a deeper truth, a hidden layer to every connection we make. In that truth, there are signs that tell us more about someone's past than words ever could. We live in an era where superficiality reigns, where many are quick to give themselves away, seeking something they can't name. But what if I told you there are subtle, often overlooked signs that reveal the past of a woman who has walked the road of many intimate encounters? These aren't judgments, but reflections, windows into the nature of human behavior. The Stoics, masters of self-control and reason, teach us that it is not the surface that defines a person, but what lies within. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, reminds us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. A woman who has sought connection in many places will carry the weight of those experiences not as a burden, but as an energy. This energy isn't always obvious, but it manifests in ways that those who understand human nature can see clearly. She may seem restless, like someone who has searched for fulfillment in external pleasure and still feels the hollow echoes of that search. It's not about condemnation, it's about understanding the human condition. The Stoic path is not one of looking down on others, but of recognizing patterns and protecting your own soul from being led astray by destructive emotions. When you meet someone, pay attention not to what they say, but to the energy they project. A woman who has experienced many intimate connections often carries a certain detachment, as if intimacy no longer holds the same significance. There's a fleeting quality, a desire for more, but never quite finding it. This can be a sign of someone who has spent time looking for something outside themselves, never realizing that true fulfillment comes from within. The Stoics teach us that our power comes from within, that we must guard our minds from being swayed by external forces. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The same is true in relationships. How often do we suffer because we've been led by our desires rather than by reason? We fall into traps set by appearances, by fleeting passions, without recognizing the deeper truths beneath them. A woman who has shared herself with many may seem alluring, but we must ask ourselves, are we being pulled into her story, or are we remaining in control of our own narrative? Stoicism teaches us to remain rooted, to not let the storms of others pull us into chaos. The true philosopher knows that peace comes not from external pleasures, but from mastering one's own desires. In a world where so many chase temporary highs, we must be the ones to seek lasting peace. We must learn to recognize when someone is still searching for something outside of themselves, and we must ask, do we want to be part of that search, or do we seek something greater? The Stoic way is to strive for wisdom, to see beyond the veil of attraction and desire, and to understand that true strength comes from within. When we learn to see these signs, we protect ourselves from the chaos of being led by others' unresolved needs. We guard our inner citadel, as Epictetus taught us, by mastering our own desires, not being ruled by them. A woman's past may be written in her actions, but our future is determined by how we choose to respond.